the judgment in this particular case will sound off the signals to the foreign community, because it's not just one company we are talking about. There is a case in Bajaj Allianz as well, in GMR, Macquarie, and many others which have been stuck on the put-call option issue. But Sayanton, come on this. You are based out of London. You speak to many investors investing into the country. Many arbitration and disputes are going on there. How do they see this particular bit of uncertainty and the way it has been retrospective in nature? Do you think it's a big concern going forward as well?
Nisha, I think, let me put it in this manner. I think concern is the right word, but I would also say that it is concern but not alarm. But let me put it in this way. Put and call options have since the year 2000 been in the grey area of Indian law for a very long time, because there were, and also preemption rights, there was no legal certainty about them either in the legislation or in the subordinate legislation. Now, going forward, a lot of companies which entered India did that in the knowing, in belief that if we govern our contracts by a foreign law, at least there is certainty that under English law, an arbitral tribunal or an English court, or even a court in any other foreign jurisdiction based on common law would be able to interpret these rights and obligations together. But what has happened subsequently is that the pricing guidelines have made a differential treatment of the put and call option as opposed to other equity instruments. Now that is really what has put a spanner in the works, and therefore this is something which is, I would say, akin to looking at this particular issue. I think on an ease of doing business in India, a lot of progress has been made. Therefore, I do not believe this one issue is going to put a spanner in the works in totality. But if this one pinprick is addressed in the right manner, either to go back and say we grandfather everything starting from 2002, which have done in this manner, I'm just giving a random example, or you will say, look, we cannot do this case by case, so we're going to say all put and call options which were entered into as per agreements in this time period would be looked at in a particular manner, and this would be the pricing guidelines. So I think that is really the way forward. So I do not believe this is going to cause enormous alarm, but this is really going to increase the clarion call for greater clarity in this issue.
Oh yes, and final word to you, Gopal Jain, on this. How much importance do you give to an amicable solution coming in from both the parties? In this particular case, Delhi High Court has given time till 30th of August to both the parties to come up with a solution. But with the way we are seeing hectic media posturing by both the companies and media statements countering each other, doesn't look like an amicable solution can be reached at in this point.
Well, I think, like you said, commercial entities always want certainty. And when you go through the process of court, you always, there could be an outcome one way or the other, there could be a process of challenge. So I think exploring with an open mind a possibility of resolution or conciliation is a good welcome step. You can always have good faith negotiations. Both are, global conglomerates. I'm sure they have channels of communication. You now have very good trained commercial mediators. So I think it's a very good step. Fostering becomes important because no side wants to sort of give a signal that, oh, we are going to lose. Both sides think that, their case is right. And three, I think I've seen other cases as well. They're very contentious to start with, but over a period of time, sometimes I think people realize it's much better to climb down a bit or walk that extra mile and find a common meeting point. So I think we should be optimistic about it. But I think most importantly, the signals that the government and the regulator should get out of this is there is an issue, and that issue needs to be resolved effectively and very quickly. I think that's really the bigger message and takeaway from this whole dispute.
All right, Gopal Jain. So he has to say that the government has to take a call to put an end to that put-call issue that the corporates are facing. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for breaking it down for us. It's a complex issue, and all the foreign investors would be watching out for the final decision on this particular matter and how it really impacts all of them when making investment decisions, and also now exiting from the country, the ones who are already in the country.